Right, good evening everybody. And we have the Reverend Ian with us. And he's going to say what song it is because he's the one that picked this one. So Ian, why did you pick this one?
Well, I'm a very keen Liverpool supporter. And this, of course, is Liverpool's anthem. Jerry and the Pacemakers, Jerry Marsden, recorded this at about 1960, 61, 62, and it was picked up by the Liverpool fans, and we've sung it ever since, and it's fantastic.
He does like his football. I think Liverpool lost the other night, didn't they?
Well, on penalties. Horrible.
Oh, no.
Horrible, yes.
As people know, the word football is actually banned from the studio. But seeing Ian is in here this evening, I thought we'd have a little chat about football. I know when I go and visit his house, he's got a massive sign that says Liverpool. So obviously Liverpool is the one that he supports.
And Argyle.
And Argyle.
Yeah.
I hear Argyle won the other night, didn't they?
They had a brilliant match at Fratton Park in Portsmouth. Yeah.
So
the Dockyard Derby.
This is probably the time ever you're actually going to hear any football on my show, unless we have Ian again.
Well, we could talk about Saturday's match.
Well, what happened Saturday?
At this coming Saturday at Home Park, which is
Go on then, have a little plug for your...
Derby County. So that's a 6-pointer, that is.
I'm just getting to talk a little bit closer to the mic because he was a little bit quiet there. I can't turn his mic off anymore.
I'm a very quiet person.
I can always turn the mic off. That's not a problem, is it? But if he misbehaves, we might have to do that. Anyway, that was his song. And will football ever be? I hope you enjoyed the little chat about football. It's very unlikely going to happen again whilst I'm here. So seeing we have got a reverend here with us, I thought I'd play a bit of appropriate music on the next one. I actually quite like it as well. It's Make Me a Channel of Your Peace by Daniel O'Donnell. I'll play that as soon as the football one has finished, so you can hear the faux song then. That was one just for Ian. Did you enjoy that little...
Thank you very much, Mark. Daniel O'Donnell's got a lovely voice, hasn't he?
I do like Daniel O'Donnell. And whilst we're talking, I'll play You'll Never Walk Alone Again.
Again?
In the background.
Oh, right.
Just very, very quietly. We've had it just now because Ian's favourite little song. Right, the reason I've invited Ian into the show is to talk about mental health in the past and how it was not talked about. So I'm not sure how far you can remember back.
Well, I was born just after the Second World War in Liverpool, hence I'm a Liverpool supporter. And I grew up I was born before the NHS was in existence. And mental health was just kept quiet. If there was mental illness in a family, it was never talked about. It was always always behind closed doors. There were people I knew who hadn't been well mentally, and sometimes they went off into a mental hospital outside Liverpool. There's a big mental hospital called Rainhill. When my brother and I got my dad down, when we really annoyed him, he used to say, "I'll end up in Rainhill because of you," meaning and it was known as a loony bin, and that's how people saw.
If someone gets called a loony or mental or any of those names, it really does put them down and just makes them an awful lot worse. Yes.
And even terminal illnesses, if somebody had one, they weren't. It wasn't talked about. It was all kept quiet, hushed up. It was just if it was talked about, it was only within the close family. So there wasn't the openness and the willingness to share when people were seriously ill, whether it be physical or mental.
It's like back in those days, nobody would actually sit down on the radio like we're doing now and discuss mental health. It just would not happen, would it?
Well, there was a stigma attached to anyone who was mentally ill, even if they just were depressed. Depression was, I think, was a major thing in my childhood.
Yeah.
But nobody, no.
No. But we'll come back to more talk in a minute, and I shall play I'll Be There by the Jackson 5. Right, just for the YouTube listeners,
Yep.
we keep on getting power cuts. So at the minute we're off air, and hopefully things will reconnect shortly. Right, we're all back up and running again. We had a little power cut, and sorry for the little mix-up. There's been an electrician that has been doing some work, and for some reason they keep on turning the power off. It's completely thrown me. I'm not sure if I've played this one before or not. But what we're going to do is we're going to go straight on to Don't Stop Believing by A Journey. We're going to go over that shortly. Yes, thank you for the couple of messages I've received on the phone to say I was not on air. But now it looks so we are on air again. So enjoy the rest of the song, and I will get back to Ian. And he's got a few personal stories he'd like to share with us. So we'll look forward on hearing his stories. Right, now we've calmed down a little bit after a little mishap with the power. And Ian said to me, "Isn't it stressful?" I must admit, if this happened on my first show, I would have probably completely froze up. But you just stay calm and keep on going. It's quite stressful having Ian here, because I'm thinking I couldn't mess up, because Ian might hold it against me for the rest of my life. No.
Not at all.
Right then, what we're going to do now, we're going to hear a few stories from Ian. So I'm going to hand the mic completely over to Ian, and I'm just going to sit back and listen.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you for having me on your show. It's great being here and seeing you at work. As I mentioned, I grew up in Liverpool, born just after the end of the Second World War, and had a happy childhood, mum and dad and big brother and myself, up to the age of 10. What I hadn't realised, that my mum, lovely woman, hadn't been very well for a year or two, and one day she went to the hospital and she never came out. It turned out that she had cancer.
Dreaded cancer.
But nobody had said anything at all. Now I was 10, my brother was 13, and I was absolutely left bereft. My dad couldn't cope. He had a bit of a breakdown. My brother and I managed the house, doing dishes and keeping the place clean and so on. I carried on at school, but there was no help whatsoever. There was no counselling, there was no support. But this is what it was like in the early 50s. It was, where we were in Liverpool, we were on our own, and we struggled, and my dad struggled. And I got through the 11 plus, got sent to grammar school, but I was an absolute failure. And it was after 2 years, I was chucked out and I went to a comprehensive school, and I didn't do very well there. And looking back later, I realised that, of course, I had suffered a major bereavement. I was depressed.
Especially at 10.
At 10. And there was no, at school there were no, they have pastoral tutors.
Yeah.
There was nobody to talk to, and I certainly couldn't talk to my dad. He was out of it really. And it was only when I joined the RAF as a 17-year-old that I got my life together again. I found a focus and I found a purpose. But
So that was 7 years that you've been just lost.
Well, certainly those 5 years of secondary education were an absolute waste of time. I came out of school without any qualification, any certificates whatsoever, and I was seen as a failure. And I remember one teacher saying to me that I was just an idle man, and it said that in my school report, that Ian does not work. Well, I can tell you why I didn't work, because I was lost myself. I needed help. But in those days, there wasn't the help. And I hope that somebody going through bereavement these days can get the help, especially if they're young, if they're children, if they're at primary school or even at secondary school. I hope very much they can get the support and the help that they need. I know there's Jeremiah's Journey at Derriford, isn't there? I don't know very much about it. But the good thing about today is that we can talk about it. We can talk about terminal illness, we can talk about depression, mental illness. Hopefully we can talk about the things that really bug people. And we will listen as well.
Yeah, people do. They listen. My mic on, yeah. It's, I can remember when I was younger, if I said to somebody, I'm feeling anxious, they looked at me thinking, oh, what's that? So 50 years on, and it's definitely talked about an awful lot more. This is partly what I'm doing the show for, is because I want to show people that there are people out there with mental illnesses. With my severe anxiety, I get a bit of depression as well, but it all goes with it, and I can talk to people. The more we talk, the easier it gets. It doesn't make it go away, but it certainly does make it easier. But Ian, it's the same. So you're all by yourself when you were 10 and losing the parent. I can remember losing the parent, and my mum was 57. Yes, that was young, but nowhere near as young as your mum. So it's just a miracle really that you got through all that. And Ian's turned out to be a very nice man. He's always willing to help. He's certainly done an awful lot in his ministry along the way, and I expect the sad times he went through has made him the man he is now, if you keep it that way. I
think you're you're absolutely right, Mark.
Because Ian can understand what people are going through, and I expect he's come across several youngsters that's lost parents in his ministry, and he could actually relate to them exactly on what they were going through.
It's good to be able to sit down and listen to somebody, get them talking, get them opening up, sharing, and just being there with people. There is this saying, isn't there? A burden shared is a burden halved. Now, possibly, but it's good. It's good when somebody is able to talk and somebody is able to listen.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a little song just to break up a little bit, and we'll come back for more from Ian as well. And if I remember, I will mention how we both met, because in Next Door with Jana, I was in with Chanter Banter with Harry just now, and they said, well, how did you two meet? We looked at one another. I'm actually not sure. We had to really think about it. We just seemed to have clicked, and for some reason I think Ian would be a good person to invite onto my show, and for what he just experienced there and told us, he certainly was a good person to have on the show. Right, we're going to have Wind Beneath My Wings by Burt Midler, And this is actually for a cousin of mine, for Sandra. So just for you, Sandra, one of your favourites. But that was just for Ian. I must admit, I quite enjoyed that as well. So it wasn't really planned the way we're doing this evening. We haven't discussed it in any way whatsoever. I was literally going to ask him a few questions, and so far it's been working extremely well. And I'm really pleased I invited. I nearly said invented. Don't think I can invent Ian, do you? That'd be a little bit on the difficult side. So now we're going to lighten things up a little bit. We've been a little bit heavy the last half an hour. So Ian's going to talk a little bit about one of his hobbies. And I've got a similar hobby. So Ian, what is your hobby?
Model railways. Brilliant. Steam. Wonderful.
I think he enjoyed that, didn't he?
Believe it or not, now it shows you my age, I have got 2 or 3 LPs, long players, records, full of recordings of steam engines.
So you really enjoyed that one there then?
Oh,
let's have it again, shall we? I think this one's got a bit of a problem. It's going backwards now. So yeah. So at least he's happy. We've had a little bit of a laugh as well with the sound effects, and I was a bit concerned about this deck because it didn't have any sound effects that I actually liked. It's only got one. And my wife doesn't like that one, so that was just for the wife. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about railways. So over to you, Ian.
Well, growing up in Liverpool, I grew up in a part of Liverpool where there was a railway line at the bottom of the garden and a railway line, the main Liverpool-Manchester line, to the side of the house. And we had trams. And I was just surrounded by steam engines. I remember at infant school, on a Friday afternoon, we could bring in a book and read it. And I took in a book about a certain railway character called Thomas the Tank Engine.
Not Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes. And so I grew up with Thomas, loved Thomas, grew up with trains. Also, for Christmas and birthday, my dad always bought my brother and I some a model railway, a coach, some track, and they were all Hornby 00. Hornby was made about 2 or 3 miles down the street in Liverpool. It was all part of the Meccano empire that Frank Hornby started. So I grew up with this 00. That's the gauge 00. Trains being run on the carpet, which of course that's the worst thing you do. Now I've got a layout in the loft, as Mark very well knows. It's been a bit cold this week in that loft, I have to say.
Well, he hasn't actually invited me up in the loft for a while, so I've not actually been up and heard any of this.
I can take the hint.
So I think it's about time he actually invited me up to see his trains. I sometimes take some of mine up there and run them, but
we haven't for a long time, have we? Not since the autumn, I would say.
It's quite strange. We go through stages with hobbies because I went for a whole year without actually touching the railway at all. But a few weeks ago I went up in the loft and I laid a set of points, and I've now got a run around now, and I've got many years to do on my railway. Unlike Ian, his setup is quite a nice little setup, isn't it?
Well, my railway is based on the Southern Railway, Southern region. Although I grew up in the northwest, so it was the London.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't go for the GWR. God's Wonderful Railway.
Ooh, no, thank you. No, I've never been a GWR fan. No, never. I know there's some lovely locos, but no, I like LMS and Southern. So I've got a layout which is based on the Southern region in the 1950s.
Well, I was brought up next to the London Southern Railway, but unfortunately it all shut by the time I was born. It shut in I can't remember the exact year, 1968. 1968 I think the Blue Austin line shut.
Right.
To main line up to Tavistock. I might have got the year wrong, but I think it was 3 years before I was born.
Mm.
And I can remember playing along the old railway. I can remember the old mounds of chip-ins of the ballast, and I used to think, God, that's where the track used to be. Go back there now, and it's all still there. And hopefully one day it'll reopen to Tavistock, won't it?
Well, it'd be great if they will open it to Tavistock, but I don't know whether they'll open it to Oakhampton.
The trouble with the Oakhampton line, we've got the Meldon Viaduct that needs an awful lot of work done. I've heard different stories. Some say they need to rebuild it, others say they can strengthen it, and that. So just hopefully one day it will run all the way through from Plymouth, Blue Austin, Tavistock, Oakhampton, then Exeter.
That would be a brilliant route, won't it?
Yeah, it'd be absolutely fantastic. So I'll just play this once more, just for Ian. Right, now I'm going to play Love Changes Everything by Michael Ball. Right, the next song is for my wife, and I think she's done this on purpose because how am I going to pronounce a Dutch pronunciation? It's honky tonky. I've just got to say goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
This is bye to the couple from next door. They do a very good show as well. So anyway, go back to this. I'm going to try and actually pronounce this. Honky Tonky Pianissy by Knuckle Hack. So yeah, I've probably got that completely wrong. But this is just for my Dutch wife, Rika. So here we go, Rika, just for you. If there are any Dutch listeners out there, go to the chat forum and send us a message. But please send it in English, because I would never be able to understand the Dutch. So enjoy the rest of the song. Actually, that tune was quite good, wasn't it? It's certainly a good one for the pub. I think Rika did tell me that back in the, I think the 70s, I think it was. It might be a decade out, but they used to play that an awful lot in the pubs over in the Netherlands. So I hope you enjoyed that. Well, this is another one for a friend. I always play a little bit of heavy metal for Paul. So we're going to have a bit of Alice Cooper, and it's Poison. Right, we're actually listening to Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. I just picked that out for something a little bit different. It's nice to have a good variety of music. Well, this is my third show, can you believe it? 3 shows. It's a bit of a miracle, really. If you think when Harry said to me that you'd be good to do a radio show, I said, no, don't be silly. But I came along with Harry several times, and well, in the end he said, well, see Trace and see if he'll have you on the Omnium radio. And he said, yeah, that would be a good idea. And it was Harry's doing. He said, why don't you do a mental health show or something similar? And my wife came up with Old Socks, And Harry's wife said, "Why don't you call it all sorts of odd socks?" So that's where the name came from. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the radio show has affected my anxiety. And I will play in the background Bernadette by Four Tops whilst I'm yabbering on about my little issues. Well, I can remember the first time I came in 3 weeks ago. My anxiety was that bad I could do nothing all day. It was really, really bad. It was nearly as bad I did not come in. And the second week it was a lot easier. I managed to come in. Yes, I did have my wife out in the car. No, the second week I had Paul, didn't I? Paul came along. And he stayed with me throughout, and he actually added to the conversation like Ian is today. And today, well, the anxiety was fairly bad this morning because I knew I had to come into the radio show. So what I did, I actually went out and had a little fly around with my drone. And you all know you can see my drone footage and even listen to this on YouTube. And if you type in all sorts of odd socks, you will find it. And this evening, as you know, we've had a few little power issues. And I reckon I would normally have probably have froze or sort of completely got confused. But I was quite relaxed and just went with the flow of it. And I think one thing was staying in my mind is Ian saying, "God, it's stressful, isn't it?" And I was thinking, well, it is to start with, but once you get into it and calm down, it's quite easy. So there's nobody said anything on the chat. So anybody, just send me a message just to make sure this chat forum is actually working. Because nothing's come in yet. So Paul, if you're listening, you send me a message, because I know you're quite a reliable person on the interweb. Or Harry, if you're listening, send me a message. And also David. And if David is listening, we've got Ian until the end. So he's going to give me a lift home this evening. So you're not needed this evening. So I'll have you in the show next week. I've got 22 seconds to yabber on about my things. Now I'm going to turn the music off and going to hand it over to Ian. He would like to discuss a few things on coping methods with anxiety, which would be helpful to everybody that suffers. So I'm going to hand it over to Ian.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Down the years, one of the things that really helped me is music. I grew up listening to music. The radio, or as we used to call it, the wireless, was always on in the house. We had a channel called the Light Programme, which in the 60s became Radio 2. There was always music. It was always on, plenty of music. And that, I find, is a great help in helping me to calm down and just find some peace. In the evenings, as a teenager, I used to listen, and somebody might know that there used to be a radio station called Radio Luxembourg.
Even I can remember that.
208 medium wave, and that was great. Although it sometimes came and went because of the fluctuations in the way it was broadcast.
That was in the ionosphere. That was a big
Oh,
word.
that's a big one.
I expect a few people thinking, he's into radio.
I've had plenty of LPs and CDs and the like, just to help me along the way. Recently, only very recently, I've discovered, dare I mention, Radio 3. Radio 3 Unwind. It's a brilliant station for calming type music. It's only available online at the moment. It may be on BBC Sounds, or it may be on Alexa.
You can listen to it, but you cannot listen to it when I'm on.
That's true. I love to get my Bluetooth headphones on and just...
you have got Bluetooth headphones?
I got them a year last Christmas.
I'm surprised you know what Bluetooth is. I've just been kicked.
Well, wasn't Bluetooth a Scandinavian warlord?
I got no idea.
Yes. Yeah, I've got Bluetooth on my phone. I've got a smartphone. I'm not very smart at using it, I must admit. But no, music's been a great help down the years, and I just love some of the music that that's played nowadays. I was out this afternoon at a care home, doing some community hymn singing with the residents, and then on the way home, I always have Radio 3 on the car, and there was this wonderful piece called Appalachian Spring by the American composer Aaron Copland.
We may try and find that in a minute on the list.
It's pretty long, so you couldn't play it, not all of it. But it ends with a tune that is used for the hymn Lord of the Dance. So if you know the hymn Lord of the Dance, or you can find it on YouTube, that's the music from Appalachian Spring. Appalachian Spring is a great piece just to listen to on your headphones.
Keep talking, I'm typing away.
Well, I don't know how long it is, but I when I got home, it hadn't quite finished, so I waited in the car until it had finished. Oh, you got Lord of the Dance there.
But which one do we pick? There's so many here. There's loads of them there.
I don't know.
There's actually nobody that I actually recognise there.
And there's Donovan.
Was it Donovan? That's not Jason Donovan. There's HMS Donovan.
Oh, right. I've no idea.
There's so many. I'm just going through the list. The trouble is, you type a song in and you think, there only be one or two coming up. So I'm going to move that across to there. And we'll play that in a few moments, but I'm just going to let Ian keep on talking, because we like listening to Ian, don't we?
I don't know. But I do thank the Lord that there's so much music available, and so many different types of music. Calm, quiet music. I love some noisy music. I was very fortunate growing up in Liverpool at the time of the Mersey beat. There wasn't just the Beatles around or Jerry and the Pacemakers. There was the Searchers, the Swinging Blue Jeans, the Mersey Beats, the Foremost. Oh, there were loads of Liverpool groups. And my big brother, he had membership of a club in Liverpool called the Mardi Gras, and one of the resident groups was the Swinging Blue Jeans. And when he wasn't going, I would borrow his admission card and just get in and listen to whoever was playing.
You borrow it. You should have paid for it yourself. Get you on one thing though.
I think there was a admission charge, yeah. But I was how old was I? About 15. Terribly shy, very, very shy.
I can't believe Ian being shy.
Oh my goodness me! And when you first went into the club, all the fellas were on one side of the dance floor, and all the girls were on the other side. Mind you, we should have been at home doing our homework. I never did homework. Got into trouble at school. Never did homework. And gradually, over the evening, the boys would pluck up courage. Not so much me though. Boys would pluck up courage and go and ask a girl for a dance. And it was, in the end, it was great fun. But it was a bit scary at the beginning because of my shyness.
And you also said it helps being out in nature.
Yeah, the countryside is great, and we're very fortunate, aren't we, in Devon? It's Devon and Cornwall. Better mention Cornwall. But I used to do a lot of cycling in my younger years. I used to go off for a weekend on the bike, stay at a youth hostel, even in the winter, because it was just great.
It's best to be out in the countryside in the winter where it's nice and cold and fresh. I went out, was it yesterday morning? I woke up and my anxiety was so bad. It was really, really, really bad. I thought, this is no good. So I got my camera, got my drone, and went up and went for a walk through some woods. I only went for probably about 45 minutes and took a few drone footage of a couple of trains. You can see that on my YouTube channel as well. That's up. And I just walked the camera on the way back, pointing a few things out, because I think by sharing things on YouTube it does also help people relax, because they can actually go out and get out, because people like me sometimes just cannot get out. I can remember a time I was seeing things on Facebook all the time. Oh, I wish I could do. Oh, look at that, he's lucky. Oh dear, he's lucky. But now I've learnt just to do things in my own time and do when I can. So yeah, anxiety is a bit of a nasty thing. I do go on about it an awful lot. But if you suffer with something like that, it's on your mind all the time. And when Ian said that he suffers a little bit, I was quite surprised. So, do you want to say anything else about?
I think one of the things that's hit me in the last few years is how I won't claim to be as anxious as you are, but there is a certain. It must be to do with getting older, hitting. Well, not quite 80 yet, but I'm nearly there.
I thought you were 70.
No, left that a long time ago. I think that's one of the things, getting older. I do have faith. I do believe that as the Lord has looked after me in the past, He'll look after me in the future. But I'm also human, as we all are. We all have the things that bug us, and we've got to be realistic. We've got to be honest with ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah, we're all odd socks.
Yes, yeah. And we're all unique.
Yep.
And that's the wonderful thing, isn't it? We're all so different. But
it'd be a boring world if we're all so different. If we're all the same, it would be a bit boring, wouldn't it?
But we've got so much to offer. You've got this is a wonderful facility, and your show is brilliant. And I love the title.
At least I've got one person say it's brilliant. So yeah, there's nobody on the chat yet. Right, talking about different things. Let's play something a little bit different, and let's go over the border to Cornwall. Not Cornwall. This is for all my Cornwall friends. So Cornwall, My Home by the Fisherman Friends. Well, we've just been talking about a few things about Cornwall. So with this here on, it's very appropriate. So Ian, tell us more about Cornwall.
Well, I first visited Cornwall in about 1955. My dad loved Cornwall before the war. He was a keen cyclist, a member of a Liverpool club, and he would have cycling holidays using the trains. You put your bike on in the guards van, and he came down to Cornwall. And of course, after the war, he got married during the war and had 2 children. He wanted to show us Cornwall, so he drove down after work on one Friday evening. There were no motorways in the 50s. There was a bit of dual carriageway, but I remember driving through Bristol and Bridgewater, Exeter, and it was a long way to come down for a fortnight's holiday.
And the roads back then were, a little bit on the slow side.
But it was, we stayed, the first time we stayed between Lou and Polperro, I remember that. Cornwall was beautiful. And we loved it so much that we came back in 56 and in 57. And that was my mum's last holiday. And it was a lovely county.
So you were 9 years old?
In 1978, I got married to Margaret, and I wanted to show her Cornwall. In 79, we had, because she's from Scotland, we did our holiday in Scotland. But in 1980, we did Devon, North Cornwall, South Cornwall, and then across Dartmoor and back to where we were living. And I remember going to an aero park at Helston, 1980.
Flambards.
Which became Flambards. Isn't it sad that it's closed down and all the stuff except the Victorian, the Victorian Street is going to be auctioned off. The Victorian Street's...
Yeah, that's been auctioned off. I saw that on the TV a little while ago.
Yeah, that's going up to Bishop Auckland in County Durham. So, and I remember that. I remember that holiday in 1980. Of course, we've been back since quite a number of times. Done some walking. We used to love watching Julia Bradbury on the TV, and
I like Julia Bradbury. Her rally walks are absolutely brilliant.
And she did a couple of Cornwall walks, so we've done the same. We follow the walks. Absolutely super. It's a great place. Out of season, dare I say.
Oh yeah, we always go on holiday this time of year, and it's September, October. It's always the best time for Cornwall, because Cornwall certainly is not a very good place with all the grockles around. Us people from Devon are always taking the mickey at the Cornish, but we do love them really. But don't tell too many people that, otherwise they might get the wrong idea. But I've got several Cornish friends, and hopefully one or two may be listening now. Hopefully. Well, I'm not sure what Ian's got left to say, but I'm going to throw it over to Ian. I'm not sure if he's thought about anything to say. If he hasn't, it doesn't matter, we'll just play another song. So Ian, have you got anything else to say about mental health, especially touching on mental health as it was? We've already said how there wasn't the help there is now back in the 60s, 70s. And
40s, 50s.
I often wonder what have happened to me now, because as you all know, I said last week and the week before, Rika certainly, that's my wife, has certainly saved me. And a lot of other people have also helped, and I often wonder if I would have been shoved into one of these institutions. I can't say that word.
Mental health institutions.
That would do.
Loony bin.
The loony bin. I'm not sure, because a couple of times I've been quite bad, but most people probably look at me thinking, what's he on about? He's normal to me. But remember, not all disabilities you can see. If you've got a bad leg or got one leg in a wheelchair, you can see that. That's obvious. That chap over there has got a bad leg or lack of leg. But if you see people like me walking into a supermarket and walking in quite sort of upright and absolutely looks fine, but you don't know if that person is suffering from anxiety. Many times I've gone in there and come out again with no shopping. It still happens now from time to time. And I'm going back to the YouTube channel. I did a couple of YouTubes on mental health, and shopping is one of them. And there I explain how it affects me. So have a little look on all sorts of odd socks on YouTube and you can find it. Right, I'm going to pass it over to Ian. I might play a song in behind if I can find a appropriate one. So Ian, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. What I would want to say is if anyone is going through a difficult time, please be honest with yourself and talk to somebody, mention it, seek some sort of help. May not be professional help, but find a friend that you can talk to and share. We all go through the ups and downs in life for all sorts of reasons. It doesn't have to be bereavement. Bereavement takes all sorts of shapes, doesn't it? You can lose your job. You can lose. Relationship can break up. So there's all sorts.
Yeah, I know people who actually have lost a job and family members, not family member, but family members, and my heart goes out to them. I'm not going to name them because you know who you are, and I often think of you. So I put it in there, but I thought I had to just to mention that person.
Yeah.
So back to you there, Ian.
Well, just to finish, is please seek some form of help, whether it's a friend that you can talk to, whether it's professional help, whether you can get to your GP or a clinician these days, but don't suffer in silence, please.
And if all fails, phone up the Samaritans, because the Samaritans helped me a long time ago. I was in my 20s. And if you stick a little search under mental health help, you get things like Mind. There's it's funny, I could think of them more earlier. I thought I don't have to write them down. I will remember them all, but I haven't. And also I do put on the YouTube channel when I'm playing these back. I put some numbers up. I put different numbers up each week, so I'll probably have a few things up there when I compile the program on YouTube. I don't have many people that listen to it, but if it just helps one, it's certainly worth doing. Like Ian said, if you're suffering, go and seek help. Doesn't matter if it's a friend, doctor, the Samaritans, Mind, or even go and see a minister or a vicar. The trouble with ministers and vicars now, they haven't got an awful lot of time for pastoral work, unfortunately.
It's very true, unfortunately.
It's,
there's less and less of them for certain reasons, which won't go into.
But luckily, there are people that will sort of pastorally look after you. Say if I reckon if you went into the church, I'm not going to name the church, you might all flood in there. But that wouldn't be a bad thing, would it? Like, for instance, if you walked into church, they might say, well, I can see if I can get somebody to help you, and you might get Ian on the phone. You never know.
You never know. Yes.
So, and I've learnt a few things from Ian today I actually didn't know about him, which is, sort of no wonder he's, can I understand where I'm coming from at times. Well, I'm going to play You Raised Me Up by Daniel O'Donnell. Don't think I've done that yet. I don't think we have. I'll get the volume down so we can keep on talking. I have had a request from David Marks, and could you play Something I Need by Ben Harno? I don't think we are going to have time, but if I can squeeze it in, I'll try to. More messages have come in now. David again. So David, mental health is a struggle. I'll just turn this down a little bit. There you go. Mental health is a struggle, and seeing a part of the struggle with mental health is a very emotional thing that I get better. It just takes time. And he said another one, the mental health unit and hospital are doing a wonderful job helping people with mental health. And I want to thank all the mental health team that are helping my fiance at the moment. Yes, it's very difficult to see anybody struggle with mental health, and I've come across a few in my life, and yeah, it's knowing what to do or what to say. It's so easy to say the wrong thing for somebody that is going through a problem. Like, for instance, I've had people say to me, "You'll get over it." I've had people say to me, "It's all in your mind." They're right, it's all in your mind. They may be completely right there, and they might right saying, "You'll get over it." But that sort of thing can really knock people for six. So try and think what you say before you talk to somebody that's going through some sort of mental health issue, because you may say that one thing that might drive them over the edge. You don't really want to be doing that. The best thing with mental health people is to listen. I'm not very good at listening, but throughout my life I've learned to listen. Listen to weigh up what they're going through, and then hopefully you can say the correct thing and help them. Ian, you must have come across several instances where you've felt, what can I say to this person?
There have been. I've worked in a variety of situations. I've worked as a civilian with both the Army and the Navy. I've been an assistant prison chaplain. I tried that. And I have to say that down the years, I've tried to listen. The last thing I would want to do is just to wade in and give people advice. I'd want to listen, not just with my ears, but with my eyes, my whole being, and try and understand where this person's coming from. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can say that would help them? I certainly don't want to be unhelpful. As you say, say the wrong thing. That's no good at all. So I would say that I've had over the years, I've had quite a listening ministry, and simply being with people may not be finding the right answer, if there was a right answer, finding a solution if there was a solution, but at least just sharing in the, dare I say, in their pain, in their difficulty, and hopefully when they've gone on their way, they feel a sense of lightness, that somebody's actually being genuinely interested in them.
Well, look at that, like you ended that absolutely perfectly with the music. So we're going to have "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith. So we'll listen to that as we're carrying on talking. So where David was saying thank you for the hospital mental institution, or whatever you call it. It's probably the right word to say institution there, is it? The mental hospital. They do a wonderful job, and if anybody is listening that works in a mental hospital or anything to do with mental health, we all like to thank you for what you do. And certainly I can thank them for past things. So remember, the most important thing if you're going through some sort of crisis is to ask for help. It's like a lot of people say, come on this program for advice. No, we never give advice, and that's a power gone again. So I'm probably not even transmitting. So it might all go completely dead in a minute, I think we're about to lose power again. The lights have gone off. So if somebody can send me a message to let me know if I'm on. No, I'm off. Just when we get into the best bit.
Oh.
Well, I think we're back on again now. I was playing with buttons whilst the power was off. It was the lighting circuit that was out, and I found the fault. It was the hand dryer in the ladies' toilet. So we must blame the ladies for that, mustn't we? So yeah, but these things happen. But I'm so happy I have found this button. I actually don't think that button was there the last time I went through them all. Well, I've completely lost the flow now. We were really getting into it, weren't we? So Ian, what were we talking about just now? Do we just have a song? We're just going to have a song. We're just going to finish off I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. I think we've... no, then we're going to have... Have I played that one before? Yeah, have I?
Not quite sure.
I'm not. Have I played You'd Rate? Yes, I have, because I was playing it whilst we were talking.
Well, you've got a track there called Goodbye, and you're going to be saying goodbye in a moment or two.
I'm going to be saying goodbye in a minute. I'm going to play one more before then. And let me have a look. I have to play this one for my brother because he actually asked me to play one. So we're just going to have two more, and then we'll end the show. And I should be back next week, same time, same place. And don't forget, I have recorded the show, and it will be on YouTube. And you will still know what my YouTube channel is. What is my YouTube channel again? All Sorts of Odd Socks.
Of course.
So, that's the first time this evening that his mind has gone blank. Well, the next one is, I have to play it because I asked my brother which one he would like me to play. This is one of three that he asked me. And I must apologise to anybody I've not played their records for because we've had a few little technical problems, haven't we? So this is The Door by Teddy Swims. Just for you, Richard, my brother. Right, we're very nearly to the end of the show. We've got one more to play, and then we'll come back at the end and say our goodbyes. And don't forget, I have recorded this, and it'll be on my my YouTube channel. And Ian, what's my YouTube channel called?
All Sorts of Odd Socks.
There you go. If Ian can remember, everybody can remember. So I'm going to play the Spice Girls next.
Lost, doesn't he? He looks lost.
Well, that's the end of the show, and I must thank my wife for pointing out the talkover was a little bit too loud with the music. But I think we've got that sus now. So my next one will be my fourth one, and hopefully the fourth one I should be there, and I will be able to say I've actually done a good job. There's a few mistakes this evening, but that's all a bit of fun. But I can blame them all on the power cuts, can't I? So that's good stuff. Right then, that's just for my wife. She doesn't like that noise. I'm going to pass it over to Ian for a goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much, Mark, for having me on. It's been great fun, and all the very best to you for future programmes. Keep it up, keep it going. It's well worth it.
I must admit, Ian, you certainly made the programme today, and we thank you an awful lot for coming on. When I asked you, I thought, will he come on or won't he? And I was surprised when he said yes. And I certainly made a good choice because you've shared some very useful stuff. And we must emphasise, if you're going through any issues, ask for help. We've gone through the list on who to ask, so just ask for help. And don't forget, it is on YouTube. It will be probably by tomorrow evening after I edited it. And it is, what's the name of the YouTube channel?
All Sorts of Odd Socks.
I think that's in his brain now. So I'll say goodbye to everybody and see you all next week.